Good afternoon. You're with Middaylive. My name is Wendy Lai. Our headlines for this afternoon. Former President John Mahama expresses interest to lead the opposition National Democratic Congress in the 2020 elections as presidential candidate. President Akufo-Addo rounds off his 3-day tour of the Bono Ahafo region. And on the firing front, Venezuela chooses its next president in an election widely seen as a foregone conclusion. We've got details of these stories and many more, including sports and entertainment, coming up shortly. Please do stay. Now let's start with our stories now, and we're focusing on John Dramani Mahama, who was the candidate for the NDC in the 2016 elections. And this afternoon, the former President John Dramani Mahama expresses interest to lead the opposition National Democratic Congress in the 2020 elections as presidential candidate. Saturday evening. To you, the teeming supporters and sympathizers calling and requesting me to declare my intentions for the future, I wish to assure you today that as a servant leader, I have listened to your calls and reflected. I will not disappoint you even as we await the publication of the party's guidelines for selecting a new leader. The 59-year-old former Bole lawmaker is expected to make a formal announcement at the NDC's last unity walk in the Volta region. The former president would have to slug it out with former vice-chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Professor Joshua Labi, former Trades and Industry Minister Ekospio Gabra, and veteran legislator Alban Badmin. John Mahama lost the 2016 polls to candidate Nana Akufo-Addo, making him the first sitting president in Ghana to lose a second-term bid. The ex-president, who has been leading a series of unity walks organized by the party in 9 regions so far, also congratulated the rank and file and executives of the NDC for their commitment and work rate in the reorganization process. He urged them to keep up the momentum generated from the unity walk. To other stories, President Akufo-Addo has promised to ensure the number of beneficiaries of the Planting for Food and Jobs program is increased to 1 million by 2020. He was speaking at a deba at Busunya as part of his tour of the Bono Ahafo region. Here's a report by Johnson Tichi.
President Akufo-Addo said the ultimate goal of creating the Planting for Food and Jobs project is to provide enough food for local consumption and for export. He said the Bono Ahafo region alone has received 15% of farming inputs, including fertilizer at reduced prices for farmers to boost agricultural production. He said the MPP government will fulfill all its campaign promises. President Akufo-Addo stressed that the free SHS program has come to stay to relieve parents from paying exorbitant high school fees, which became a challenge for several parents denying their wards education. The chief of Busunya, Nana Jaba Okofo III, pleaded with the president to fix roads leading to Boaben Fiema Monkey Sanctuary. Nana again called for a district hospital. Earlier, scores of chiefs and queen mothers in the Bono Ahafo region welcomed the president at Odumasi in Kranza North. The president, Nana Akufo-Addo, cautioned Ghanaians on doing business with unlicensed financial institutions which are landed thousands of Ghanaians in total debt.
Bank of Ghana. I don't think the Bank of Ghana it makes so or no same Jawaliaka. What I can be answer Bank of Ghana no more. I'm rapping and one of us and the ambassador of the the Mr. Mumma because I was in the Eduma. Actually, will be on the back. It is as well our license and our license.
All right, so still staying on this story, we head straight to the Bonafo region where my colleague Larry Pakwesi Moses is with the presidential team to give us updates on what exactly the president will be focusing on this afternoon. Hello, Larry. Good afternoon, Larry. Can you hear me? Well, I think we're still having some difficulty with the phone lines this afternoon, but as and when we reach Larry Pakwesi Moses, we'll speak to him to give us some more updates on the president's activities as he rounds off his 3-day tour of the Bono Ahafo region. When we do reach him, we'll speak to him. To other stories, and the controversy over the University of Ghana and its operations will be laid to rest in the next 2 weeks. The Minister of Health says the committee set up to investigate the issues has submitted its reports to the Chief of Staff. Well, before we take this story, I'm told that Larry is back on the phone line to speak to us and give us the updates. Hello, Larry.
Yeah, hello, Wendy.
Now, can you quickly take us through the president's activities for today?
Yes, Wendy, we just finished, the president just finished addressing the congregants of the Holy Spirit Catholic Church here at Nkwabin, a suburb of Sunyani. The president asked the congregants, for that matter, the people of Ghana, to give him the maximum support to achieve the mandate given to him as a president for the next 4 years. He said that the introduction of the Free SA Church, the planting for food and jobs, and other social interventions that he has introduced shows clearly that he's here to serve the good people of Ghana. As I'm speaking to you now, we'll be moving to the residency where the president will be meeting the zombie chiefs. When you talk about the zombie chiefs, we're talking about the paramount chiefs in the Bron region. Yesterday, we met the Ahafo, the proposed Ahafo paramount chiefs, where the president asked them that he has had, done his part by creating the committee to ensure that go round to, as it were, solicit views for the region. But it's up to them to, as it were, when the referendum comes, to get 90% and above of the region to be created. So we are yet to move to the residency where the president will be meeting the paramount chiefs. Later in the afternoon, the president will move to Odumasi to cut sword for the construction of the administrative block for that district. The president will be living here in the Bronga Afro region later in the afternoon, where departure formalities will be done, and then the president will take leave of us to Accra.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the updates, Larry Pakwesi Moses. And let's go back to our earlier story, where the controversy over the University of Ghana and its operations would be laid to rest in the next 2 weeks.
University of Ghana Medical Center, yes. Something that has preoccupied almost all my time since I joined here. We are getting close to coming to a finality on the matter. A lot of money had gone into it. Nobody will want to see that place brought down. But we may have to be careful as to how that place can be run.
There has been public outcry as to why the multi-million-dollar facility remains dormant, although the center appears to be completed. The first phase of the 597-bed capacity hospital, initiated in 2012, was inaugurated by former President John Dramani Mahama in 2016. The super tertiary or quaternary facility, which is an extension of tertiary care in reference to advanced levels of medicine, can rival any world-class hospital. It has about 8 huge blocks which house an emergency center, an outpatient and administration block, a women and children's center, a medical training and simulation center, among others. The facility, constructed at a cost of $217 million, was still under lock and key.
We might have delayed in working on it, but it wasn't our fault. We never got adequate information initially. There were a lot of things that were being hidden. We have uncovered. And as I speak, I believe we are very comfortable getting close to coming to finality with how we run that facility.
Finally, when you spoke to us about 2 weeks ago at the Ministry of Information, you mentioned that it was not about the management issues, but that it was not completed as we think. There were certain things that needed to be done. Does it mean that all those things have been sorted now?
No, I'm supposed to write a letter to the contractor to come and see how we can get that place ready for operationalization of the facility. And therefore, the committee that went in there have attested to the fact that that place was not as ready.
The facility, guarded by security personnel from the University of Ghana, had maintained a well-manicured environment. According to sources close to the University of Ghana, there had been many high-level activities, including meetings and the movement of heavy equipment into the facility. There were still workers on site doing minor finishing works.
I think I said I don't want to preempt these things. When I was quoted out of context and people were talking that the minister doesn't know what he was talking, there's a generator and all that. There is more beyond it. We will come out. I don't want to preempt what the entire committee that has been set up by cabinet want to come to say. So let us sit still a little bit and give ourselves about 2 or 3 weeks. We will see and hear what we all come out to tell the public of Ghana.
The minister assured Ghanaians of government's commitment to providing quality healthcare system and infrastructure and would not compromise any opportunity to do that.
You're still watching Midday Live. To other stories, the Railway Development Minister, Joe Garte, has led a government delegation to negotiate for land from traditional authorities in parts of the Eastern and Greater Accra regions for work to continue on the 100-kilometer Tema and Pakadan railway line. Acquisition of the land will enable government to pay compensation to pave way for work to start.
The negotiating engagement with the chiefs was necessary to ensure the project does not stall halfway. Railway Development Minister Joe Garte explained the project hitherto Tema-Kosombo under the erstwhile NDC administration of 86 kilometers has changed to Tema-Mpakadan stretching to over 100 kilometers due to some defaults in the original plans. The negotiations were between Nene Sakete Kono of Manyakrobo, Neo Anoba Sisraku Somanya, Odeniho Kwafu Akoto of Akwamu and others of the Shai Traditional Council. The chiefs commended government for revamping the sector and the innovation made, but demanded jobs be given to their locals whilst issues of compensation are properly dealt with.
We are all for the railway system. It is one of the innovative ideas of this government. Job that you want to do, if you have a tax, perform that tax and come right back. I'm counting on you.
Minister of Railway Development Joe Garte, in his reaction after meeting the chiefs, explained that the investment in the railway sector will boost the nation's economy. He commended the chiefs for agreeing to give out the lands in trust as compensation is paid to speed up work.
So the chiefs have agreed in principle that on the basis of trust, we should progress once we sort out the issues of compensation. So it's not about not paying them compensation. Those who have taken over railway lands are not going to pay compensation.
He added that there were other projects and scholarships to ensure people were skilled to build, operate and manage a sustained and reliable railway sector.
The Minister for Special Development, Hawa Kumsin, says the $1 million allocated for development in constituencies will not include revamping of old projects. At a conference to sensitize chief executives from various development authorities, the minister insisted the funds would be dispersed for specific targeted initiatives.
The Sensitization Forum brought together chief executives and their deputies from the northern, middle and coastal development authorities. They will serve as implementing agents while the sector ministry will play a supervisory role, hence the need for the forum. Participants at the forum were taken through GIFMACE, a computerized system that will facilitate access of funds earmarked for the constituency development, public finance management and acts regulating such. GIFMACE will also, among other things, check corruption.
Gone are the days when we didn't have an automated system. MPAs used to budget anyhow, and then when it comes to the expenditure, they put the budget aside and they spend anyhow. Their expenditure does not talk to their budget. But GIFMIS is in to stay and to say that you will spend according to how you budgeted.
Sector Minister Hawa Kumsin, who praised the system, was emphatic the ministry cannot afford to create another SADA scandal.
The good people of Ghana will not forgive us if we create another SADA scandal. Management of public resource requires discipline and high levels of responsibility.
She said old projects started by the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing in the immediate past administration will not be continued with funds for the constituency development.
The CEOs are not going to continue with projects that was left because this is development authorities. And maybe those projects were done under Ministry of Works and Housing or Ministry of Local Government. This authority cannot continue with that project. We are coming up with our fresh projects. We know every constituency, throughout the 275 constituencies, their needs. And these are the needs we are going to implement for them. So we cannot leave their needs and then go to do other projects, except what they have requested for.
Projects to be captured by the $1 million funding include the One Village, One Dam, the provision of mechanized boreholes and toilet facilities, construction of warehouses, microcredit facilities, and the purchase of 275 ambulances for all the constituencies.
With the dugouts in the northern region, that's the dam, at least a constituency has about 10. When it comes to the water, the same thing. Now we have 50 warehouses in 50 districts. We are about to give constituencies 1 ambulance. Each constituency, that's 275 constituencies. And it's all part of this 1 million per the constituency. So that is the way government intend to utilize this 1 million per the constituency. But the intention was not to send the money to the people to share it among themselves, and at the end of the day will not be able to account.
Chief Executive Officer for the Northern Development Authority, Harun Abdul Majid, expressed optimism about the task ahead.
We do not intend to fail. I mean, I am not accustomed to failure. And if you look at the way His Excellency has appointed the people who have been given the responsibility for this job, he's made sure that each microcosm of management has components that reinforce each other.
The project will also provide employment for many Ghanaians.
To education now, and some private senior high schools in the country on the verge of collapse 8 months after the introduction of government's free senior high school program. One of such schools, Andam Senior High School at Ofako in the Central Region, has converted parts of the school into a basic school. There had been earlier reports by the Ghana National Association of Private Schools claiming the introduction of government's free senior high school policy had led to the collapse of some 23 private senior high schools in the country. The situation here at the Andam Senior High School is evident. For the past 17 years since its establishment, the 2017-2018 academic year has so far had the least number of first-year enrollment. In the 2016-2017 academic year, for instance, 100 students were posted to the school through the computer placement system. But this time, the school has only 20 first-year students, a number they had to invest heavily before getting since government no longer provides students for private senior high schools.
We did little adverts on the radio, and we also moved from house to house before we got the letter that we have. Publicity is about more than 5,000.
The very salient or important things.
It's a Friday and barely half of the total number of first-year students are present. I was informed their absence is due to their inability to pay their school fees. Due to the reduction in student population, some classrooms are now empty. Paying of utilities and salaries have become a burden, compelling some staff to resign.
Sometimes you have to go back to your things that you already acquire, sell them, and use the money to come and cater for the salaries. Some of my lands, I have to sell them very cheaper to attract quick customers. But unfortunately, I have sold them all. So now we don't even know how, if it is continuing, how we can survive.
Though the Conference of Heads of Private Senior High Schools is still in talks with the government on how best to help solve some of these challenges as it pertains in almost every private second cycle institution in the country. Now, part of the Andam Private Senior High School has already been converted into a preschool, and from what I'm gathering, it may soon be expanded into a primary school and eventually into a junior high school if government does not come to the aid of private senior high schools in the country.
Just about 5 months into the establishment of the preschool, close to 60 pupils have already enrolled.
As a business person, you need to have an overview and look into the future. So, looking into the future, we realize that things will be very bleak. So, why can't you start the preschool so that if even the second cycle goes down, the preschool will take over them, will be in business.
For Andam Senior High School, this may be the best solution if government fails to extend the policy to private senior high schools. But what will be the fate of other institutions that are yet to find alternatives? Kwabna Edu Jemfi, TV3.
You're still with Midday Live. We have more shortly. To stay with us. Thanks for staying. Let's go to some mission stories now. And poor roads in 4 districts of the northern region are hampering access to healthcare. Hard-to-reach communities suffer the most.
This is the routine form of commuting in Bandai, East Gonja, Nanumba North and South in the northern region. Access to healthcare in these areas remains a major challenge due to nature of roads. Ideally, not all health workers would wish to work in these areas, especially at CHIPS facilities in the hinterland communities. Those posted there are doing their best to save lives in the midst of lack of resources and logistics. In communities where there are no means of transportation, outreach programs are not prioritized, and the consequences are serious.
There has never been something like motorbike given to the clinic for us to run outreach programs. We are using our own Mapuka bikes, and you know the northern region, the roads in the northern region here, and then using Mapuka bike to access some of these unaccessible places is something that is hectic.
Residents say miscarriages are rampant. This is the nature of almost all major roads in the Salaga and the Pandai districts of the northern region. Their poor states affect commuting, especially when transporting pregnant women and farm produce to other adjoining communities. Roads here are not maintained. Some main roads connecting districts have never been tarred. District assemblies occasionally perform grading on the roads to facilitate commuting, but this does not last as most roads are destroyed with the rains. Apparently, roads here are deadly and increase traveling hours. Vehicles break down often, leaving passengers stranded.
We need a road to be fixed. The community is not developed because of the poor nature of the roads here. Pregnant women suffer the most when using the road.
The mission team was told the nature of roads have scared many vehicle owners to withdraw their vehicles from these areas. Some of the vehicles working in the district are rickety and are not roadworthy. Overloading is the norm. Ideally, passengers are not supposed to sit on top of vehicles, but insufficient vehicles make them take this risk. This is how students writing the 2018 West Africa Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, WASI, were conveyed to write their paper. Tricycles are the available option, but this also comes with a challenge. Police in the region have come to terms with the situation, and so they are adamant about the risky habits. On April 3, 2018, an overloaded cargo truck from Pandai to Dambai in the Karachi East District was involved in an accident at Banda, killing 1 and injuring 6. Teshin Police Station Commander in Accra, who hails from Pandai, has concerns.
Don't go to police station to even report that there's a case. Even if they go from that place, they go to native hospital. They don't have doctors to attend to them. So they believe that they will even go to the native hospital to go and tie it. And this all will result to death.
District Chief Executive for Pandai, Emmanuel Tatablata, hints at efforts to get some roads in the district fixed.
From Ketejali through Dodopi, Tikarani up to Kumindi, and then from Kumindi also up to Jidendongo, and then you come from Loloto up to Gulbi Quarters. These are some of the roads our MP has been pushing hard, and he has even asked me to come to Accra so that at least we can go to ministry upon ministry, so that I can also add my small voice to him so that we get these roads fixed.
More resources will be required to address the problems of the roads in order to improve access to health care and the socio-economic lives of the people in Pandai, East Gonja, and Nanumba North and South.
And the Pandai District Assembly has supported authorities at the Pandai District Hospital to commence construction of a maternity ward and staff bungalows following the airing of a documentary on TV3 concerning the hospital's plight 4 months ago. The project is expected to ease congestion at the main facility.
The Pandai District Hospital was given a hospital status 2 years ago, but it lacks adequate infrastructure. It is a major referral center in Pandai and also serves some parts of Nanumba South District. The hospital has no emergency ward, and so authorities have designated the corridor area to serve that purpose, but this can only accommodate 2 beds. Existing wards have challenges. The maternity ward, for instance, is not spacious enough. As a result, only few people can have access to beds and gain admission at the facility. There are no incubators to cater for preterm babies. Again, the hospital has no radiographer and an X-ray department. This forced patients to seek such services in Tamale, over 70 kilometers away.
We still would need those equipment, the incubators, the phototherapy machines, additionally a biochemistry machine, so that we can help to take care of our newborns.
Following TV3's telecast of its documentary on the situation at the hospital 4 months ago, the Pandai District Assembly has gone to their rescue. The Assembly, in partnership with the hospital, are putting up additional structures to ease congestion at the facility. These comprise maternity ward and 2 staff bungalows.
We've had some substantial payments in our national health insurance reimbursements, and so right now we can see that we do not have any logistical challenges. The patients have access to drugs and then non-drug consumables, and that has helped to improve our services to our clients. So we want to thank TV3 and all those who made the call to the powers that be to help with our finances.
The hospital is not the only health facility in Pandai, but it provides care to more than 20,000 people. Hence, more support will be required to improve health care.
To other stories, and some mobile money merchants say they fear they might be out of business due to the introduction of the mobile money interoperability. Now, 10 days after the system was launched, TV3 Business has been finding out how merchants are faring. Gwesamoa Asari has the rest of the story.
Telephony was first introduced in Ghana over 2 decades ago. Before now, mobile money transactions have only been possible within each network. But even as the users of the estimated 24 million mobile money accounts grew, there was demand for a more uniform platform for money transfers through their mobile phones across different networks. So, mobile money interoperability was born. This is obviously good news for mobile money patrons, as transfer of funds across networks is now a touch away.
It's convenient for me because I'm able to read and write.
So anything like that, I can be able to do it. But looking out there to someone who is not educated, it's going to be very difficult for the person. It's going to be difficult for the person to do it. So it's somehow convenient. It's also not somehow convenient.
I
don't think it's a good thing. Customers will be relieved, but the vendors will lose out.
But this news does not sit well with some mobile money agents. Their fear is they may lose a number of customers.
The introduction of the interoperability is not good for our business. Customers will not come to us as before.
Commission. Like monthly commission.
I don't really see this as a threat. Customers will need us for withdrawal, and so we will still get our commissions.
Some of these merchants had no idea what interoperability was about.
Try to get as much as this information so that I'll know what it is particularly.
But I don't know about it.
I really don't know much.
For some customers, this will rather open the market for fraudsters to operate.
This time, a man for area, baby,
This open to all system will rather empower fraudsters to operate. Monitoring will be difficult. CEO of Gibbs, Achihesi, who agrees that mobile money vendors will be affected, advised them to be innovative to remain relevant.
As business, so as times move on, you also shift your businesses accordingly. We believe that the agent's role will still be valid for a considerable length of time.
Customers stand to gain immensely from the impending fierce fight for market share as interoperability opens up the market. For TV3 Business, Grace Hamwa Sari, Accra.
Let's look at some more. And residents of Jumapo in the New Drabin North municipality of the Eastern region are requesting the removal of refuse which has engulfed the community. They want the officials of the New Drabin North and South District Assemblies to act swiftly to avoid an epidemic. Here's a report by Yvonne Nikwe.
TV3 has gathered that over the decades, residents of Jumapo in the New Drabin North municipality have been dumping refuse at 3 sites, namely Jumapo Zongo, Nyamebetre and Railway. The increase in population of 5,000 has worsened matters. The old railway station has been taken over by heaps of refuse. Residents of Jumapo Zongo want the New Drabin North and South municipal assemblies to remove the heaps of refuse in the area and supply them with dustbins. The assemblyman for the area, Osei Muriku, recounted countless efforts to get the problem solved.
We have 3 of these rubbish dumping sites in the whole town. 2, there's only 1 here, and then 1 at Ahimbronum in my electoral area. So we're making frantic efforts to enable the assembly come and then offset the situation.
The sub-head officer in charge of the Jumapo Health Center, Vida Jima Ichampong, said recent public education has contributed to reducing the threat of an epidemic.
I always go to the town to educate my people how to go about our public health, visiting them, educating them on personal hygiene.
The environmental officer of the New Drabin South District, Francis Kwame Safo, assured TV3 that plans are far advanced to remove the rubbish. However, he could not tell when this would be done.
Now to the Ashanti region, and government is rehabilitating some roads in Kumasi and other parts of the region following public outcry over their deplorable state. The Menshia and Bantama sub-metro roads are among the first to be worked on. A report by Ashanti regional correspondent Benjamin Edu.
8 of the 30 urban roads in Kumasi have been awarded on contract for reconstruction. These include asphalt overlays at Menshia and Bantama sub-metros, Tech Junction to Anglonga Junction, and airport roundabout to Bokrum road networks. This follows public outcry over the poor state of roads in Kumasi and other parts of the Ashanti region, a situation which has been worsened with the onset of rains. Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive Ose Asibientwi and a team from the Assembly inspected work on the asphalt overlay at Menchia, constructed 20 years ago. The 14-kilometer road reconstruction is expected to be completed within 12 months. The Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive assured residents government will improve the poor road infrastructure to ensure free flow of traffic. OCICBNP said some roads will be converted into dual carriage lanes to ease traffic congestion within the city.
We would want to tell residents of Kumasi that roadworks goes through a lot of work. We would want to assure them that it is not that people would not want to do the road, right? They should take time so that we go through all the processes. And at the end of the day, when we have a finished product, it will be something that will be very good for all residents of Kumasi.
Project contractor Osei Brown of Joe Shop Construction gave an overview of the project.
Basically, where the roads are bad, depression and other things, we repair them. We use a mailer to mill, repair the road before we put the overlay on it. But the areas that have been tested and then it shows that it's okay, then we continue with the asphalt overlay.
Kumasi Metro Roads engineer Nana Poku Ajiman called for public cooperation as government works to fix the bad roads.
We have sports shortly. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to some international news now. Venezuela is choosing its next president in an election widely seen as a foregone conclusion after years of turmoil, which at one point saw almost daily street protests. President Nicolas Maduro is looking to consolidate his power. The opposition, however, refuses to even take part. Most analysts agree the president is likely to win on Sunday. His opponents say they expect widespread electoral fraud and also resign to it. The elections were supposed to be held in December 2018, but the National Constituent Assembly failed exclusively with Mr. Maduro's supporters brought them forward. The Democratic Unity Coalition is currently divided and says the elections have been moved to take advantage of its disarray. Its two biggest candidates were also barred from running and others have fled the country. And China has agreed to buy more U.S. goods and services, reducing the trade imbalance between the two countries and dampening fears of a looming trade war. Washington says the move will substantially reduce its $335 billion US annual trade deficit with Beijing, but stopped short of saying exactly how big the reduction would be. Both sides agreed on meaningfully increasing in U.S. agriculture and energy exports, a U.S.-China statement said following days of talks in Washington. This would help support growth and employment in the United States. Next, we have entertainment. A legendary actor and comedian Super Odi has been laid to rest. The funeral of the comic actor was attended by thousands, including former President John Mahama, key politicians and actors and musicians.
Oniapeni, bra, ya papa wuyin. Why na che Japaden?
Mina me che.
Una o che. Uche. Anka fo wanfa. Koko fo wanfa. Inna wa bejina sa musantis kama. Wa bomu kidi say na o sa bejis ka fi mo.
Na anti me man wo so fa
na man wo so fa me na produce wo mo.
Born in January 1935,
Super Odi of Osofuda's fame is a pioneer of local comedy. In a career that spanned over 4 decades, Super Odi is remembered for his witty jokes and originality. Super Odi rose to prominence in the 80s and 90s thanks to his par excellence performance in popular local TV series Akandrama. The ace actor, aged 84, gave up the ghost on February 13 after battling ill health. Thanks to his par excellence performance in popular local TV series Akandrama. The ace actor, aged 84, gave up the ghost on February 13 after battling ill health. Super Odi's funeral attracted thousands to his hometown, Aguna Bodom. The former president, John Mahama, turned up to mourn with the actor's family. He donated an amount of 11,000 cedis, 10,000 for his children, and 1,000 for his family. President Akufo-Addo, who was represented by the Central Regional Minister, also donated an amount of 11,000 cedis to the bereaved family. Leadership of the Ghana Actors Guild and Musica paid glowing tribute to the pacemaker.
In the era of Super Odi and his colleagues, they really committed themselves to exploiting their God-given talents, and they did so marvelously. And that, to me, had a great impact in what the industry today has become.
Super Odi's unique and inimitable style of acting. I clearly remember as a kid, there's something he used to do. He would slap his head, bah, 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 indicating when like something serious was going on. And for me, Super Odi is one of the few guys who we will forever miss.
His contemporaries and mentees eulogized the gifted actor, saying, Odi entertained and made Ghanaians laugh through some of Ghana's most difficult years. To his children, Super Odi was a lovely father and a source of inspiration.
My father, when he's speaking normally to you as a son, you will laugh. Yeah. And forever that thing and the advices that he gave to me as a son, as I was growing up, has really helped me a lot. So forever I remember my father.
The legendary actor was interred at the Aguna Abodom Presby Cemetery. He left behind a wife and 14 children.
May his soul rest in peace. To other stories, highly spiritual music signee and Jennifer Lomote hitmaker Kill Songs has called on investors to support up-and-coming artists to produce quality music videos. Kill Songs believes this will help Ghana's music industry gain more international recognition.
Everybody blow your trumpets, for my baby, oh. Your pressure, I miss your ginger, your ginger, oh, I no feel wait any longer, oh, love.
Ghana's inability to gain nominations at this year's BET has been on the lips of many over the week. Budding high-life musician and Jennifer Lomote hitmaker Kill Songs has also added his voice, stating that good lyrical content and good music videos can make meaningful contribution to Ghana's music industry.
Everybody is trying to do something really, really great. You understand? We just need a lot more investors to invest in our videos. You know, that's the only thing the Nigerians are doing. That I think we were not matching up small. But when you look at Sarkodie and the rest, you know, they are doing very, very well. So we, the young ones, we need investors to invest on our side, and then we can be able to shoot quality videos like that of the Nigerians, and we can match up with them.
Girl, you know, send me, I still love you. I want to love you. Girl, I want to love you. Send me your love.
And that ends it for Middaylive today. I am Wendy Lai. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs. And remember, News 360 is at 7. Thanks for watching. Do have a lovely and a wonderful afternoon.